NFL season is back, and honestly, it's going to be an interesting season. So, welcome back to another episode of Sports Ball with Palmer. On this episode, I am going to be, yeah, uh-huh, previewing the Kansas City Chiefs' upcoming season, uh, and also previewing then their Week One matchup against the San Diego Chargers as they are playing that game in Brazil. And then I'm also going to preview the Week 1 NFL slate as well. Well, obviously, as you know, even just kind of going back, but kind of have to talk about it, as we talk about this upcoming season. The Chiefs lost their attempt to be the first ever NFL team in the Super Bowl era to three-peat. Of course, as we know, they got their asses handed to them by the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Eagles took belt to ass for 3 hours on national TV. Yeah, I can go without ever watching a single highlight from that game the rest of my life. Same with the Tampa Super Bowl. I can go without ever watching any highlights, which for me they're lowlights, but just any footage from those games. And of course, if you didn't already know, there is that ESPN documentary called The Kingdom that came out. I believe it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But it just came out recently, documenting the Chiefs season last year. Which I mean, I still say even if you're not a Chiefs fan, go and watch that. I mean, I really liked it. I mean, obviously being a Chiefs fan, I enjoyed it a lot more. But I would still say even if you're not a Chiefs fan, go and watch it. Which, hey, granted, we're still the villains. We're still the most hated team in the league, and I absolutely love it. But it was really good. Just kind of, and not even just obviously they were focused on last season and the Chiefs' pursuit of going for a three-peat. But even talking about the history, even the Chiefs' early days, when they were founded as the Dallas Texans, Clark Hunt's dad, Lamar Hunt, founding the team, founding the AFL, talking about the history of the AFL, talking about the Chiefs' history in Dallas, and then ultimately moving to Kansas City, becoming the Chiefs, and even talking about, Hank Stram, Lynn Dawson, even their obviously lack of success throughout the 80s, their run of success throughout the 90s, under Marty Schottenheimer, Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, Deron Cherry, Marcus Allen, Joe Montana, those teams. Of course, Tony Gonzalez, and then obviously throughout much of the 2000s, the lean years under Romeo Cornell, under Todd Haley, under Herman Edwards, you know, and especially 2012, like just really hitting rock bottom, going 2-12, and then bringing in Andy Reid, and then of course even Alex Smith, but like just that build of success under Reid, and then of course drafting Mahomes in 2017, and then of course they talked about winning the first Super Bowl in 50 years when we beat the Niners. And then, of course, going back to back obviously just set up the chance to three-peat. But, like, y'all can hate all you want and talk, but no other team that in the Super Bowl era that has won back-to-back even made it back to the Super Bowl. So the fact they even made it back to the Super Bowl for a chance to have that three-peat, obviously, okay, yeah, they fell short, but like how it just keep bringing it on all the national media. Like, okay, again, talking betting, like the Eagles are the betting favorite. Like, I mean, I can understand. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl. But then next is the Bills and Ravens, and then the Chiefs are fourth. Like, and I'm not saying Baltimore and Buffalo aren't bad teams. Like, they're really talented. But time and time again, they keep coming up short against the Chiefs in the playoffs. So what makes you think this time is going to be different? And at least for me, until they knock us off in the playoffs, and then some people were saying, "Oh, we're going to miss the playoffs completely." Like, shut up, just shut up. Like, oh, the Broncos, of course, yearly the Chargers. Man, they're the always off-season AFC West division champs. But it's like, until someone knocks us off, how can you still pick against us? But it really is just people hate us. People are tired of us. They're just tired of us winning. And that's really all it boils down to. And like all this narrative of, oh, the refs are on the Chiefs' side. And like, no. And the NFL is made for parity. Like the NFL doesn't want, like, I mean, I would say we're a little bit more on the Patriots side, but at the same time, obviously they had a lot more scandals. But it's like the NFL doesn't like want dynasties. They don't want the same team. Like they don't want to see the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game every single year, and especially hosting that. Granted, obviously, out of this, there's only been 1 year we haven't hosted, and that was 2 years ago. Then when we uh, obviously then beat the 49ers the second time to go back to back, when we won at Buffalo, we won at Baltimore in the AFC Championship game. How did that was the 1 year we didn't host, but like we've been in the AFC Championship game this many, so it's like they don't want they want to see the Ravens, they want to see the Bills, they want to see the fraud goals, they want to see the Steelers, they want to see the Dolphins, the Texans, the Broncos, the Chargers in there. They don't want to always see the Chiefs in there. So shut up with your stupid narrative that the refs are on the Chiefs side. Like, no, they're not. But again, kind of have to talk about that to even talk about this year. But I love it. It's just fueling this team. Like, keep betting against us. Like, oh, and the NFL players like top 100 list, which I think it's stupid, and it's another list that just like I just get stupidly mad at. Like I didn't even see who's number one. I don't know if they've said who's number one is. I would assume so because usually they do the top five, like it's the entire top five. But Mahomes is number five. Like, come on, man. Mahomes is the best player in the league right now. Like, there is no debate about who. So, like, I'm sure probably Allen and Lamar were ahead of him. It's like, come on, man. They're not even the best quarterbacks, let alone the best players. Like, no. Mahomes is still the best. And I'm looking forward to Kelsey because, I mean, obviously, definitely Kelsey had a off year last year. And I know he did come out and say, with all the distractions, with him being in Happy Gilmore 2, which, hey, shameless plug for that movie, too. If you haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet, for all the nostalgia, especially if you've seen the first one, oh, man, it was so good. I loved it. But like he was doing that. He was filming other stuff, of course. His relationship with Taylor Swift, I mean, they just got engaged, so like he said like he was kind of focused a little bit more on that than he was focused on playing. But I do think it's a mix of both. Like, I think there is some credibility to that, him being distracted with that, but he's also in his 30s. So obviously he is getting older, and he's getting older this year now. And I know it's training camp, but he did look a little bit leaner. He did look a little bit faster up in training camp in St. Joe. So, and I do feel like, again, and especially with the receiving options, they don't have to, like, he doesn't have to be relied on as the number one option. So they can kind of basically load manage him, and then once the playoffs start, then they can really kick into gear. But I think he is going to be in for a bounce back season. But again, looking at the receiving options, I mean, you got Hollywood Brown healthy, you got Juju back. I mean, Xavier Worthy is in his second season. I'm expecting big things in his second year. And then, I mean, yeah, of course, the obvious, Rashee Rice, but obviously he'll be suspended for the first 6 games for his incident in Texas when he, you know, was in a high speed and, abandoned the scene and everything. Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't be suspended. Like, obviously, there's needs to be consequences to his actions. And you're not going to hear any Chiefs fans say, oh, no, he shouldn't be suspended. But like when they were trying to give him like a 12-game, 14-game suspension, like double-digit game suspension, I mean, is that maybe more fair? Probably, but the precedent isn't there. Like Jordan Addison just got a 3-game suspension for his. I mean, it was like kind of a DOR, like he was like asleep at the wheel or whatever it was. But like he only got a 3-game, and like with these kind of whatchamacallit situations, like when these like driving situations, like most players have only gotten like 3 to 5 games. I mean, 6 is a little bit, but it's still kind of within that range. But like no one had ever gotten double digits. So it's kind of like obviously the Rice camp was pushing back, like, hey, there hasn't been this precedent. Like, look at Jordan Addison. He got 3 games. So then him getting 6, like, fine, okay, he's suspended the first 6 games of the season. He'll come back in the middle of the season and then, obviously play the rest. So he'll need to do some, obviously, catching up at that point. But even then, when he comes back, like, before he even got hurt last year, like, he was looking really good. And then, obviously, he got hurt. So, I'm expecting some big things from Rashee Rice as well. The area of concern, obviously, is still the offensive line. Now, they did a really good job of addressing those issues, although, at least at the time, and I still hope he proves me wrong, but Josh Simmons, the left tackle out of Ohio Soft, uh, I mean, obviously, he looked really good at Ohio State, and then he got hurt. So, like, obviously, if he was healthy, he wouldn't have been there for the Chiefs at 32. So, like, some people can come back and like, oh yeah, if he was healthy, he wouldn't have fallen, but it's like kind of exactly that. And his kind of injury, you don't know if he'll ever get back to 100%. Now, he did look good in preseason, but again, I mean, there are some people that are definitely like, oh, yeah, like, okay. I'm a little bit more of, not necessarily pessimist, but just, you got to prove it to me. Like, I got to see it. Cool, you did decent in preseason, but and obviously, at least obviously when he was in, it was the number one. So it's like not like he was really going up against number twos, but it was still like obviously in preseason, very vanilla schemes, offensive and defensive game plans. So I want to see him like now this week against the Chargers. How's he going to hold up now that it's meaningful regular season football? So, but I hope he proves me wrong. I just wish because Luther Burden was sitting there at 32. Like the Chiefs could have got Luther Burden, and oh man, this wide receiver room would have been amazing. And so, or they could have gotten Travion Henderson. Like I love Isaiah Pacheco. I like Kareem Hunt, but I now again, I don't think even if they drafted Travion, I would be like, okay, maybe not like make him the lead, like rotate him with Pacheco. But I just think Pacheco, like I still think there's something to be desired in the running back room because the Chiefs like, and again, I like Pacheco. He's good, but I mean, obviously, even last offseason, like when Derrick Henry was a free agent, like even if you would only be here for 2-3 seasons, that could kind of buy you some time in that running back room. Like, man, if you had a Derrick Henry or a Saquon Barkley or an Aaron Jones or a Josh Jacobs. Like, I wish we had, like, and again, I love Mahomes, but man, if you can take some pressure off and just have a really good running back there, man, this offense would just be even better because teams would have to honor the run and not just sit on the pass. They would have to honor the running game. And you could have that. Like if you had a Travion Henderson, a Quinshon Judkins, obviously they weren't going to get Ashton Genty, but, so those are definitely the two areas. I mean, the secondary a little bit, but since they signed Christian Fulton, McDuffie can move back into the slot. Now, D line, especially interior D line, is a little bit of a concern, especially depth wise. So that'll be something to look. But this defense is still going to be really good this year. But man, like I said, I like Pacheco, but we'll see. Although even Kingsley is going to be in a little bit area of a concern, So we'll see what he looks like this year. But the Chiefs honestly really haven't had a really good running back, honestly, since Kareem Hunt's rookie year and then even his second year. Because his rookie year in 2017, I mean, he led the league in rushing. He was, obviously, that was still Alex Smith, but he was really good. And then in 2018, he was off to a good start and then, of course, had that incident and got kicked off the team for lying. So, I mean, hey, he definitely, like, at first I was a little, but it's also kind of like, all right, I think there is a difference in him. He has changed. He regrets what he did. He's, seeked counseling and all this, to try and, be better. So I'm okay with giving him a second chance. And he did good. Now, you could definitely tell he wore out. So obviously the running back room is Pacheco, Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, who they signed, and then they drafted Bashard Smith. So I can see them truly I mean, I could see Hunt being the goal line. I can see Pop basically being the guy between the 20s, Hunt being the guy in the red zone. And even Elijah getting some of the action, obviously, in between the 20s. So, they're going to probably try and keep those guys rotated and fresh. So, but man, I mean, I'm excited for the secondary because McDuffie can now move back into the slot where he's a lot better. And then you can have Jalen Watts Island and Christian Fulton on the outside. So, but unfortunately, King Felix is out for the year. And then you also have Najee Johnson in IR. You have Deion Bush on IR. Jalen Royals, who they drafted, is going to he's still dealing with an injury. He's been ruled out at least for this week. So they do have some kind of key injuries a little bit that they're dealing with. But overall, no one's talking. Again, the moves they made on the O-line and then the receiver room. Now, obviously, Hollywood got to stay healthy, but if this receiver room is healthy, it's going to be really good. So, and then hopefully you can keep Pacheco and Hunt healthy. But I mean, I'm definitely not counting this team out. I honestly think they can get back to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this year. So, but that's kind of overview at least of the roster and everything. But I mean, they just made some not super headline grabbing offseason moves, but man, I mean, they did address the holes that they needed to address. especially after last season and the O-line struggles, and especially in the Super Bowl. So, again, like I've said, uh, I'll go to the game preview first and then just overview kind of the schedule. So, obviously, the Chiefs and Chargers are kicking off their seasons in Brazil on Friday night. Uh, the Chiefs are 3.5 point favorites, and the over under is set at 46.5. So, I mean, that's a decent over under. I can definitely see that getting there. But I could also see a defensive battle because, especially with it being week one. But I mean, obviously not having Rashid, but you also didn't have Rashid in this. Obviously, I mean, he got hurt early and then he was out the rest of the year. So, I mean, in a way, like, you're kind of used to not having him. But obviously, you didn't have Hollywood to start this season because he got hurt in preseason. So, I mean, for the most part, obviously, I mean, Rice is suspended, but like that receiver room is healthy. I mean, again, it'll be interesting to see what the O line does. And apparently, I've heard the Chiefs have, from where they're staying, like a 2.5 hour ride from where they're staying to the stadium. Like, that's insane. That there's not like a hotel, like, although, because the Chargers are technically the home team, so that could be it. So the Chargers are getting the hotel closer, and the Chiefs are stuck having to be, like 2 hours away. But man, that stinks. Like, that could be a factor in this game. The fact that they'll have to bus 2.5 hours away to the stadium. So, but I mean, as much as I say, like, I think they're not, but the Chargers are probably the biggest threat because I do think Harbaugh's a bit better coach than Sean Payton right now. Like, now, if this was like the Sean Payton with New Orleans, I would say absolutely Sean Payton's the better coach, but I think the Chargers are just a slightly better team than the Broncos. So I think the Chargers are more of the threat. And if they are going to get they have won and kind of recently in Arrowhead, but at least especially by that point in the season, like in December, the Chiefs are usually playing their best ball. So now, granted, the Chiefs have done a good job under Andy Reid, and especially in the last 5-6 years of coming out hot and playing really good in September. But we have seen them gotten beat in September and October. So, I mean, if this is like when the Chargers are going to get them, it would be this week. And I mean, 3.5, I mean, there's not lines for every game, but you do see double digit spreads, but for the most part, you do see a lot of 3.5, 4, 4.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5 point spreads, or even less, like basically 1.5. Like, it's kind of a pick 'em. But I do like the Chiefs in this game to get to 1-0. Just because, again, like, Andy Reid coming off a bye is really good. And basically, obviously, you've pretty much kind of like had a bye coming into the season. So, Andy's going to have them prepared. I mean, I hate that this game is being played in Brazil. I mean, at least the Chiefs aren't giving up a home game for it, but like I said, I do like the Chiefs. So, I have the Chiefs going 1-0. And then to look at the rest of their schedule, week 2, Actually, I'll try it. Because I think on here it's actually going to show where their bye is. But week 2, they'll take on the Philadelphia Eagles at home. I mean, that's going to be a tough game. I mean, I know it's at home, but I think the Eagles probably win that game. Then week 3, they're at New York to take on the Giants. They should win that game. Week 4 at home against Baltimore. Probably, I'll say they win that game. Week 5 at Jacksonville should be a win. Detroit has kind of played them tough, but week 6 is against Detroit. I do think they win that game. Week 7 against the Raiders. No, I'm pretty sure they'll win that game. Not like trying to be cocky, but like we've kind of owned the Raiders. Week 8, they do play the Washington Redskins at home on Monday Night Football. They probably, I mean, that'll be a good game. I mean, Washington's really good. I mean, I could see Washington winning, but I will take the Chiefs. Week 9, they will play the Bills in Buffalo. I do think they lose that game because, at least lately, Buffalo wins in the regular season, but the Chiefs win in the playoffs. So I will take Buffalo in that game. And I will say they lose to the Eagles, so that's their second loss. Then week 10 is their bye week. Then coming out of the bye, they'll play at Denver. Might be a tough. That will be a tough game, especially in Denver. I'll say they lose in Denver. Week 12, they'll play the Indianapolis Colts at home. I like them to win that game. Week 13, on Thanksgiving, they will play the Cowboys, obviously in Dallas. I do like the Chiefs to win that game. Week 14, they'll play the Houston Texans at home. I like the Chiefs to win that game. Week 15, and again, when I get to these weeks, I'm going to go more in depth. I'm just kind of like looking at their schedule, just at least right now, what I feel like. Week 15, they'll play their rematch with the Chargers at home. I do like them to win that game. Week 16, they'll play at Tennessee to take on the Titans. I do like them in that game. Then they'll have interesting. 3 out of their last 4 games are divisional, so that's like really interesting. Although, kind of potentially when you want to be playing, because that's usually when a division race is, especially if it's close. Like, okay, now you're playing those teams and you have a chance to knock them out and win the division. So, but week 17, they'll play the Broncos at home. I like them to win that rematch, and that game is actually going to be on Christmas. And then week 18, they'll play, again, their rematch with the Raiders out in Oakland. Or, actually Vegas, sorry, whatever. I still call them the Oakland Raiders. But I like them in that game. So 3 losses. Yeah. So I have them 15-3. Because I don't see them only losing 1 game. I mean, could they lose to... Like, I mean, they could lose to Washington, and they could lose to Detroit, so they could end up with 5 losses. So, but I think their ceiling's 15-3, though. Like, I don't want to say there's 3 guaranteed losses, but I feel like their ceiling is 13-3, or 15-3, sorry, they're playing 17 games. It's weak. Oh, I'm sorry. So 3 losses. So 14. Yeah. Okay. So 14-3. I'm sorry. I apologize. 14-3. But then again, the NFL season kicks off this week. Thursday with the Dallas Cowgirls, and they traded Michael Parsons to Packers, which was kind of crazy. But they'll take on the defending champ Eagles in Philadelphia on Thursday night to kick off the season. Philly is 8.5-point favorites. I think they cover that easily, especially now without Michael Parsons. Like, that defense was garbage even last year with him. Whew. Yeah, the Eagles are going to run wild over the Cowgirls on Thursday. Again, Chiefs and Chargers on Friday night. As I said, I'm taking the Chiefs. The Lions and the Packers, as Micah Parsons will make his Green Bay debut. Green Bay is 2.5-point favorites, although it's kind of like a pick 'em. Well, where Detroit kind of loses is when they play. Like, they've been playing the Packers on Thanksgiving and then they lose, but then they've beaten them in Lambeau. So I will take the Lions. I like the Lions to get to 1-0. But divisional game to kick off the year. I mean, kind of crazy that, well, even Eagles Cowboys week 1, like, kind of semi crazy. There's some divisional games week 1, but I mean, it'll be a fun game. I mean, granted, I don't think Parsons instantly makes them a Super Bowl contender, but I mean, I still like Detroit to win that division. So, but I will take Detroit week 1 over Green Bay. The Cardinals will take on the Saints in New Orleans. The Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites. I do like Arizona in this game. I think Arizona will be a little bit of a sneaky team this year. So I like them to get to 1-0. The Dolphins will take on the Colts in Indy. The Colts are 1.5-point favorites. I'll take the Dolphins. I'll take the Dolphins to get to 1-0. I mean, I'm not too high on Tua, and I mean, of course, Danny Dimes is starting for the Colts, but I mean, both are obviously kind of in a little bit of a rebuild. But I do like the Dolphins. They have a little bit better weapons offensively, and defensively they're a little bit better. So I will take the Dolphins. The Steelers will take on the Jets in New York. The Steelers are 2.5-point favorites. Aaron Rodgers is making his Steelers debut. I mean, I think the Jets will be improved, and they're going to give them a ball game. And Rodgers, obviously, he's now obviously going up against his former team in the Jets. So the Jets might want a little bit of revenge against them, but he also might want revenge against them. But he also did not look good last year. But, I mean, obviously Steelers' defense is really good, so they can win a tough defensive battle. So I'll take the Steelers in this game to get to 1-0. The Giants will take on the Washington Redskins. In Washington, the Redskins are 6.5-point favorites. I mean, granted, that Giants D-line, especially getting Abdul Carter, man, and Dexter Lawrence, like, they've got some dudes on that defensive line that can cause havoc for teams. But is it enough for them? I mean, now, granted, I don't think Jackson Dart is going to start, but it's not going to be if, but when he starts this season for the Giants. Now, even then, is he going to be enough to, like, kind of maybe will them into a wild card spot? I don't know. Because, again, Philly, like, you got Washington and Philly who are really good in that division now, especially with what the Cowboys are looking like. They can probably finish third and maybe sneak into a wild card depending on what the rest of the league does. But I think, again, I mean, obviously Washington went to the NFC Championship game last year, kind of in a miracle run. Obviously, they were playing a last place schedule last year, so this year they are going to be playing a lot tougher schedule. But I still like Washington. I mean, Jaden Daniels, man, dude, he's he's a guy, man. He can play some ball. So maybe Washington doesn't cover, but I do like Washington in this game. The Houston Texans will head to LA to take on LA Rams. Sorry. I want to play this audio. I should have had it pulled up. I apologize. Like, look up the song on YouTube. It's hilarious. And the video is hilarious. It's just a hilarious video. You gotta watch it. It's like from the, I think like 80s, maybe even 90s. Like how it's kind of funny. So with that, I mean, I like Houston. I think they are in for a bounce back, and they'll probably win their division. And after this, I'm going to make my division picks and playoff and Super Bowl picks. But give me the Rams. Ram it. 1-0. Next up, then on Sunday Night Football. Well, I mean, this kind of isn't in order, but they'll be playing on Sunday night. Ravens and Bills in Buffalo. Buffalo is 1.5-point favorites. I do like Buffalo in this game. I mean, this is going to be a really entertaining game. Like, I'm excited for this game to watch because, I mean, again, obviously right now they're the two betting favorites to, win. But, I mean, again, hey, prove it until you can beat Kansas City. But, I mean, there's still the, top teams in the AFC. So, and obviously this will go a long way, potentially for tiebreakers if both end up with the same record, head to head. So, I mean, Bills, have a decent defense, but I don't know. This is semi make it or break it year for them. I do like Buffalo ever so slightly over Baltimore. I mean, I think Baltimore's obviously going to give them a game, but I think I like Baltimore just ever so slightly. The Raiders will take on the Patriots in New England. The Patriots are 2.5-point favorites. Obviously, I still hate them, and now I didn't hate them before Brady. I just was kind of indifferent to them. So obviously now no Belichick, no Brady, but obviously Mike Vrabel's the head coach now. I think they'll be sneaky and give some teams some trouble, and I'm still not high on the Raiders. I mean, you obviously got Ashton Genty, and you got Brock Bowers, who you got drafted last year, but still some questions at quarterback. Now, I do like Geno Smith, who they did sign in the offseason away from Seattle, who I think is very underrated, but I think Drake May is a little bit underrated. I mean, I'm not high on him, but I'm not low on him either. He's kind of an average quarterback. So at least them being at home, I think helps. I do like the Patriots ever so slightly in this game. The Carolina Panthers will take on them Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 3.5-point favorites. I do think Carolina is going to be a little bit improved. I've kind of been out on Bryce Young, but hey, they actually do have some weapons around him now. I don't think they're going to win a division, but they could at least be a little bit more competitive this year. I like Carolina to win this game. I think Carolina wins this game. And then The Cincinnati fraud goals take on the Cleveland Browns and Cleveland. Cincinnati is 5.5 point favorites. Like, some I kind of don't understand that, but I mean, obviously, like, yeah, they're really good offensively, but hey, have you guys, tried to, you know, actually improve your defense? Because their defense is hot garbage. Like, they're going to be in shootout after freaking shootout. Like, they're going to have to score 30 plus points to win every single week. And they're going to get got because their defense just can't stop freaking anybody. And if a defense can get like 2 or 3 stops, like 1 to 3 stops in the game, they're going to lose because their defense just can't really stop. Like, will they get some stops? Like, yeah, they'll run into some stops. So, but like, they pretty much just like, oh man, they can't stop anyone. Now, obviously, is Cleveland really good? But Cleveland seems to play them tough. I mean, obviously, you still got Myles Garrett on team, and he loves to come after Joe Burrow. And even the Bengals line isn't all that good. So, I mean, it's going. I don't see the Bengals blowing them out. Like, if they win, they're like win by like a field goal or something or less. Now, granted, obviously Joe Flacco's getting the start. I will take Cleveland in this game to beat the Cincinnati Fraud goals. So then you have the Tampa Bay Bucks heading to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Tampa is 2.5 point favorites. I think Tampa is still arguably the best team in that division. I mean, I think Atlanta will be improved. I mean, like, obviously this is Michael Penix, second year. You do have Drake London, you do have Kyle Pitts, and you do have Bijan Robinson. Like, that offense has weapons, so they might sneak up on people and they might make a wild card. But I think Tampa is still the class of that division. Baker is underrated now. Obviously he went to OU. I don't like Oklahoma, but man, I actually like watching Baker in the NFL. Like, he's a fun guy to root for. So. And they still got those weapons offensively, and their defense is still really good. I think they'll slightly cover, like they might win by a field goal. Like, there's probably a reason. Obviously, this is only 2.5. Not like usually spreads are this close. I'm like, and could they end up winning by a touchdown? Yeah, but so I will take Tampa in this game to get to 1-0. Almost said the Seattle 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers will take on the Seattle Seahawks, okay? And up in Seattle, 49ers are 2.5 point favorites in this game. And I don't know, like, granted, Seattle doesn't have Geno now. They traded DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, they're probably not going to be all that of a good team this year. Now, I'm not super high on San Francisco, but I think they'll be competitive. Like, it's going to be between them and the Rams for the division. But I will take San Francisco in this game. I'll take San Francisco to get to 1-0. The Tennessee Titans are going to head to Denver to take on the Broncos. Denver is 8.5 point favorites in this game. Cam Ward, who was the number 1 overall pick, is making his NFL debut this Sunday for the Titans. He could, but man, I mean, especially going to LA or something, or like kind of not in Denver. Like, even if they were playing the Broncos, but in Tennessee, I would like the Titans just a little bit better. I mean, to be a little bit more competitive and maybe. I mean, I am interested to see what Cam Ward does, but he might come out and struggle again just playing at altitude. So I will take Denver in this game to get to 1-0. Of course, a lot of people are high on the Broncos, in Bo Nix, second year. Sean Payton's, third year? Second year? Comeback coaching in Denver. Like, their defense is pretty good. So, but can Bo Nix continue to take that leap? I don't know. I mean, like, I'm just, like, generally, like, I'm not trying to be, like, hating him, and I wasn't too high on him coming out of college. So, can he continue to take that leap? And then on Monday night, which kind of interesting this year, there's only one Monday night game because it seems like in the last 2, 3 years there's been two Monday night games, but this year there's only one, and it's the Minnesota Vikings heading to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears. Caleb Williams and the Bears. Sorry. But Minnesota is 1.5 point favorite, so they kind of have this as a toss up. I'm not going to say it's not a toss up, but Minnesota does have a really good defense. Obviously, JJ McCarthy is going to be he was drafted last year, so he will be making his first NFL start. He is the starting quarterback now for the Vikings. They're loaded offensively. They do have a good defense. Obviously, they got a good coach. So it will be interesting because obviously the Bears hired Ben Johnson in the offseason to be their new head coach. And, I mean, granted, I did draft Caleb Williams in one of my fantasy leagues because I think he could be in for a good season, especially because they did put weapons around. I mean, you got Roma Dunze, you got DJ Moore, you got Luther Burden. I mean, you got Colston Loveland from Michigan. I mean, obviously Luther Burden from Mizzou, but and of course you still got Swift in the backfield. Like they've put weapons around him for him to be successful. But this is a tough week one matchup going up against as good a defense that the Vikings have. Now, if he comes out and lights it up, man, people are going to be talking about it. But if he struggles, he still isn't okay, it's week one, and again, going up against good defense. I will take the Vikings in this game to get to 1-0. So that is my picks for the season. Sorry, not for the season, for week one. Now I'll give my division picks and then conference champions and then Super Bowl picks. I will start in the AFC. Starting in the East, I have the Bills winning the AFC East. I do have Baltimore winning the NFC North. I have Houston winning the AFC South. And once again, the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West. My three wild card teams are the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Jets, and the San Diego Chargers. Those are my three wild card teams out of the AFC. On the NFC side, in the East, now there hasn't been a back-to-back winner in forever in the NFC East. I mean, I know Philly's really good, so that almost makes me want to just pick Washington because there hasn't been. But could Philly... Now, again, there's been good teams like that won it, and then we're obviously still good the next year. That just didn't end up winning the division. So, the NFC East has been crazy. There hasn't been a back-to-back winner in 20 years, something like that. So that kind of makes me want to take Washington just for that fact. I mean, Philly is really good. Now, kind of spoiler, I don't have them going back-to-back. I don't think they'll go back-to-back. Because even when the Chiefs did, that was super tough for them to go back-to-back. So and you hadn't seen a back-to-back champ since the 03-04 Patriots. So I'll kind of take Washington for that fact that there hasn't been a repeat champ in the East. North, I will take Detroit to win the division again. And in the South, I'll take Tampa to win the division again. And out West, I'll take the LA Rams to win the division. My wildcard teams then are going to be the Eagles, Vikings, and I'll say Atlanta. I will take Atlanta to make the playoffs. I think the Giants, 49ers, Bears just missed. So, and then I'll have Minnesota getting out, winning the NFC. I don't care. Call me a homer. Chiefs win the AFC, and Chiefs are Super Bowl champions once again. So, How about those Chiefs? So that is my Chiefs preview and also NFL preview for week 1, and as well as obviously giving my division picks and Super Bowl winner. So come at me, I don't care. But until someone beats us, I'm going to keep. And especially as long as we have Mahomes and Reed, or even just one of them, yeah. Well, I like our chances. So, but next episode, I will be recapping the Braves series against the Cubs and previewing their upcoming series. So stay tuned in for that. So don't forget to click that notification bell to get notified when I do release new episodes. And with that, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a great Monday. I'm off on my days. Labor Day being, it's kind of threw me off a little bit. Have a great Wednesday, because it's Wednesday, not Monday. It's Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday afternoon, evening. And as always, how about those Chiefs? Y'all have a good one.